the correct phrase gets the bragging rights. So we'll go through a couple of these, and I think you'll get it. So the first one, and there's some hints at the bottom. This one is in the theme of TV and film. I know you're like, why are you making me think? I'm not a movie buff. What phrase is this from? Wow, are folks stumped? I don't see any fast fingers coming in the chat. Oh, somebody got it. There we go. How did you get fired on your day off? Yeah, we all know what that's from Friday. So hopefully that example, first one, let you know how you should be thinking. And maybe that one was a little tough. All right. Here's the next one. Might have to give you all a timer, like a 10-second countdown. Everybody's looking bewildered. Maybe a hint. Oh, someone wants an olive branch. All right, let's see if any ahas come through when I reveal. You told Harpo to beat me. What movie is this from? Come on. There we go. Oh, and with the memes. All right, we'll do one more, but this will come back later today and tomorrow. So might do some research and start thinking, but no cheating. Don't go looking up the game or buying it on Amazon and getting it tomorrow. Okay, someone caught that there was a connection to the same movie. You show is ugly. All right, we got some typos in here from folks, but I think you almost got the correct answer, Townsend. All right, well, thank you everybody for playing along. I hope that your mind is starting to turn on after working a long day, unwinding a little bit before we jump into some of the content for today. So I wanted to take just a moment to review the agenda. So, for those in Region 6, you may have attended a professional development workshop earlier today on power of mentorship. I wasn't able to attend that, unfortunately, due to a work conflict, but look forward to hearing from those who did on how it went. Right now we're just at the top of the agenda, and you'll hear a little bit today about the Game Change 2025 strategic plan and how the professionals are thinking to attack that, and everyone on this call's role in supporting and helping the organization be a game changer. We'll then have some time for you to connect in some breakout rooms with your regional boards and learn how the strategy is being rolled down into each of the regions. And you'll have a good amount of time to ask some questions there and also discuss any upcoming regional activities and events that you should keep top of mind coming up this quarter. And then what I'm really, really excited about for today is coming back and having a discussion around a platform that all of the chapters potentially can take advantage of to host your events locally. I know we're always getting requests for, hey, is there some standard platform? Why are we always having to maybe maintain our own websites, do event management? We want to get your thoughts about a platform that the national and regional boards are considering providing for you. Then we'll have some time at the end, as I mentioned, for a little bit of fun, coming back to some of the questions that you saw at the beginning, and then we'll have some time for networking and getting some of your thoughts about what you want to get out of RLC. But I do want to make sure that you have access to the agenda. I think if you were successful in getting here to the meeting, you might also have the agenda because it's in the meeting invite, so that you can click through and peruse the agenda at your leisure. I will also note that in here is a key thing. There are links to the breakout sessions. I'll come back and remind you about how to get there when we get to that part in the agenda. But the thing to note is that these links will take you out of this room into another Microsoft Teams room for the breakout. But when those end, you'll need to go back to the agenda to click the day one link to come back to this room. Or you may have both Microsoft Teams instances open, and one meeting will put you on hold while you're in the other, depending on how you have the setup on your local machine. But we're here to help you get through any tech challenges as we move throughout today and tomorrow. So I will pause there and hand over the program to the one and only, our fearless leader, Dr. Roe Worthy.
Oh, Arthur, you make me feel so good about myself. I am definitely excited. Oh, look at there, you guys give me hand claps. Oh my goodness. I am so excited to be in front of you all any chance I get. I'm always on social media looking at all of the different events that our chapters are hosting. And so, I know you all are working. You have the most important job in NSBE, really, and that's really to give our membership those activities that we definitely need. I don't want to start this.
Dr. Rowe.
Yes.
Hey guys, did you all realize Dr. Rowe just had a birthday? Let's wish her happy birthday.
Thank you, Renee.
You're welcome, ma'am.
And what I was about to say was I didn't want to start this presentation without thanking these wonderful regional chairs. This is something, and I was telling Arthur this the other day, this is something that we have never done before. Never have we ever been in a situation where we've provided a virtual experience as far as a regional leadership conference for all of our regions at the same time, sharing with you all the same content. So kudos to the regional chairs for working together. Your fearless leader, Mr. Arthur Edge, for really championing this particular initiative and also making it happen in such a short time frame. I think people forget that we just got into office in May, and really you probably want to say June, because we went through a change in our platform, our operating system, and we switched over to Microsoft. And so the leaders just started to really get going and moving. So I am so thankful for you all and what you do and all of your hard work, particularly this week, because you were putting in the hours. So I am appreciative of that. So before I jump into the professional's vision, I did want to shout out my partner in crime, Miss Favor Nerese. She has presented a wonderful slate of national directives for us this particular year. The theme is time. The T stands for transform. And as you can see here, we're really ready to step our game up. And so that's going to take an initiative where we're just transforming the way that we do things as an organization. And also we have a significant amount of power but power enacted is influence. And we have to understand how we can move from having NSBE power to having NSBE influence. In addition to that, she is really excited about innovating the way that NSBE executes their programming. And so I'm excited that we are partnering at a national level with the collegiates and the professionals coming together to execute programming. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. The M stands for mobilize, and that involves you all. And we'll talk a little bit about how we're going to get our chapters mobilized. And then the E stands for evolve. Man, over the years, and I see definitely some NSBE old heads in here. Sometimes we don't do things, the most optimum way that we can do it. And so it's time for us to change that. And so I'm so very excited to partner with Favor this year in executing her vision, but also taking the NSBE professionals to the next level with our professional vision, which is NSBE engage. And so that's where you see the theme coming in, time to engage. But before we can engage, it's important for us to know where we're going. And oftentimes around this time of year, we'll get calls or emails from our chapters and we're like, hey, what's the national directives? What do you want us to do this year? What should we be focused on? And so that's what this particular event is all about, sharing with you where we're going and what's our vision and what you as chapter leaders can focus on. And that centers on our strategic plan, Game Change 2025. I am in love with this plan. And the reason why I'm in love with this plan is not necessarily because we helped shape it, but I'm in love with this plan because of the external acceptance that it's getting from people who are not even a part of NSBE. When we talk about this plan with other external stakeholders, they are amazed at the vision that we have. And not that we are just kind of settling on this very small box that NSBE fits in, but that we're stepping outside of the box. And here are a few of our vision snapshots where we're saying, look, we are trying to change the game here. And that means that we want NSBE members to be CEOs of companies. And so I'm excited that we were able to actually accomplish that very early on by naming Janine Uzel, who is a NSBE member, CEO of the organization. I've provided a link here for you to just check out the plan. Like, I sometimes send people to the plan and they're like, wow, this is a lot. This is so much. But I do employ you to actually read through it because it gets me excited when I read through it of the path that NSBE is actually embarking on. So that's where we're going. But we also need to step back and understand what we as a professionals body, what we do best. And a lot of times people are like, yeah, we do networking great. We also do community engagement and outreach really good. And we also do professional development well. And so there's a lot of things that NSBE can do well. And I love our vision statement here because we can do all of those things, but ultimately all of those things bring us to the point where we are inspiring that next generation. And so if we can keep this kind of central to whatever we're doing and what our purpose is and what that vision and that focus is, we are going to do wonderful things. We are indeed going to change the game within the professionals. So how will we use our best to get there? We have this wonderful strategic plan that outlines our different priority areas: ready, set, go, brand, and grow. The professionals are there. We are that go. We are that area. So if you do read the strategic plan, go straight to the go and read all about what we want to do as professionals. So we want to employ you to execute that plan. And you have wonderful regional leaders that have translated what this particular plan and our national directors and our professionals' vision means to the regions. And you'll hear a little bit about that in your session later on. We also want to energize you all. This is why we're having this particular session, to come to you and speak to you directly, so you don't have to think about, well, I wonder what Nationals is thinking or wants us to do. We're also throwing in master classes, wonderful Region 6. I'm sorry I couldn't attend earlier today, but I did hear that it was wonderful. And so I really want us to really energize you consistently throughout the year. And finally, empower you. Author mentioned about the Bevy platform and what that entails. And so I'm excited to get your feedback later on tonight about how you feel about that. Do you think it'll be useful? Do you think that you could really kind of take your particular chapter engagement to the next level using a platform such as Bevy? Now, after kind of taking in all of that, the National Directives Game Change 2025, we were ready to kind of sit down and focus on what we want to do from a professional executive board area. And so this is where our zone focus areas come in. Now for admin zone, we're already doing some of it, but what we wanted to do is really take what we do as an organization and write it down, codify it, create some type of board management system so that you chapter leaders will ultimately kind of graduate up into regional and national leadership, and you're able to take the organization to the next level. And that's a plug right now for succession planning, and you thinking about maybe after you've served at the chapter level, coming on up to the regional and national levels and serving. So we want to have something, an infrastructure there to support you and help you along the way, and also evaluate whether or not we're doing things the right way consistently, because y'all know we can start doing things because one leader did it this way and we completely detach from what our governing documents say. Now for a communication zone, it's time for us to tell our story and get it out there, not just to our internal audiences, but to the external audiences. We see all of these individuals that are, doing these great things external to NSBE, but they started here in NSBE, and it's time for us to take our stories back and make sure that everybody, when you see these individuals out there, they're doing great things, that you know that NSBE had a part in their progression and in their elevation to the next level. And that's a part of what our Tell Our Story initiative is all about. And so I want you chapter leaders to take part in that. If you hear or know of a story or a member who's doing great things and you know that they started in NSBE, this is the particular focus area that you can really take charge in and execute. Now in our finance zone, where the money resides, there's a lot that we have to learn as it relates to nonprofit leadership and education. And so finances are always a touchy topic. You're always striving to raise funds so you can execute your programs at the chapter level. And we need to equip you in order to, one, make sure you're doing things the appropriate way, but two, making sure that we're removing all of the red tape and all of the roadblocks there so that you can execute, and also to do more programming, because it's not as hard to get those funds as you've experienced in the past. Now, in our membership zone, which I am so excited about because they're already doing this, they're already getting us here, is about really providing you with virtual chapter leadership training. We may have in-person leadership training, but we also know that we don't fill our boards at the very beginning of the year. And so oftentimes you might get people coming in after the fact and they've missed these leadership trainings. I'm excited that you, the planning committee here in RLC, they're recording this. So your folks, when you bring them on after the fact, they can go back and they have access to all of these different videos, resources to help them along the way and help them to learn their positions. So thank you, Membership Zone, for already executing and checking this particular zone objective off of the list. Our next is Program Zone, and this is really passionate. If you all don't know already, by trade, I am a professor, and what I hear most often within the NSBE demographic is we don't have a place for our grad students. And so I have charged the Program Zone, and thank you so much, Russell, for being so vigilant in continuing to execute on this particular zone goal, is to really find a place and provide our graduate students with some type of programming that will help them along the way in their graduate school journey. And so I'm really excited about this, and there's even more to come for this particular initiative. And finally, with our SIGs, y'all, our SIGs showed out last year. They delivered so many hours of programming. I think it was 500 plus hours of programming. And I saw that, and I saw the growth that the professionals experienced last year. And I also saw the decline that the collegiates experienced. And we are one NSBE. And even though we can celebrate the professionals increasing in membership, we cannot turn a blind eye to the collegiates who actually experience a decline. So one of the things that we want to charge our SIGs with is really taking their programming and spreading it throughout the entire organization, creating those partnerships with our collegiate counterparts, and making sure that they're also getting those 500 plus hours of professional development, because we can correlate that particular program that the SIGs provided with us with excitement from our members, having something that they can tune into and they wanted to engage with. And so again, shout out to all the SIG directors and SIG members and SIG leaders on the call. Thank you for all that you continue to do, but also all that you did in the previous years. And so with that, I am going to close out my presentation. Author, I'm unsure if you haven't, if we have time for questions, but I did want to throw up the QR code for the survey for this particular presentation. If you have questions or comments, feedback about our presentation, feel free to complete this survey. And that's it.
Yay, thank you. Thank you for the enthusiasm and keeping all of us awake again on this Friday where we're dedicating more time to serve. We most certainly have ample time for questions.
Come on. I quiz my students all the time, so I need to be quizzed sometimes.
And anyone can feel free to, come on camera if you want. This is very informal, feel relaxed. Yeah.
This is Richard White, Region 2 Programs Chair. One of the things I think we're going in the right direction in terms of engaging with our chapter leaders. As it relates to, again, we're in the season of membership growth, working with our chapters in terms of getting them going. What things are we going to do to kind of really engage them in terms of what the metrics are, or what things they're doing in their programs that directly relate to Game Change 2025, as well as the way they report and chip? Has there been any conversation at the PB level?
Absolutely, definitely. So a couple of things, and I'm going to go down the list because we have been very vigilant in this space of data, right? Really telling our story through data is what Favor, our national chair, likes to say. And so we're doing a few things. So the very first thing that we're doing is fixing the current state that we have for metrics, data, and all of that. And so we've partnered with IBM to create a data hub. They are doing this free of charge to take our historical data and, organize it, aggregate it, all of those great things so that we can know exactly what has NSBE's story been from a historical standpoint. And we've started to, and our first use case will be from a membership standpoint. So I'm really excited about that. What is the story of our membership over the years? So that's kind of really serving as a data warehouse for us. The second thing that we're doing in reference to Game Change 2025 is that we've hired a consultant to create a dashboard to help us to track metrics specific to the critical initiatives that are outlined in Game Change 2025. And so when you go in and you take a look at Game Change 2025, we've outlined some preliminary metrics there, but there is the current SPTF Strategic Planning Task Force has worked diligently, and many of our professional leaders are on that task force to really help and assist us with, okay, what specific metrics should be aligned to this critical initiative? And do we have current data to track it? If not, where can we get this data from to track this? So that particular process is being done, which I'm super duper excited about. The third piece is one of the reasons why we're really excited about the Bevy platform and some of its capabilities that it can provide to us to, one, help and assist on that chip side of things, but two, to provide us with automation. And so you'll probably talk throughout this particular conference about how cumbersome it is to submit chip reports, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so we're hoping and looking for Bevy to take some of the headache out of that. And you'll hear a little bit more about that later in tonight. And okay, that was just a message. But hopefully, Richard, I hope that answered your question.
Thank you, Dr. Rowe. Thank you. It did.
You're welcome. Anybody else? I have to start doing the Socratic method and calling people out. What question do you have? Let me see who's on. Greg, you don't have any questions for me? I can pick on Greg because I served with Greg last year.
I think we have a question from Catherine. Is that Madam President down in ATL?
Oh, Catherine, what's your best tip for time management? Somebody laughed at me yesterday on Wednesday. Planning. I was telling someone they were asking me about, hey, so I know that this might be during your teaching time, but what, like, do you think that you'll be able to get away? And so I was like, well, let me check to see what lecture I'll be doing and what work my students will be doing during that time. And they're like, wait, you have your lectures planned out for the next 20 weeks? And I said, absolutely. And it's because I can't afford not to plan. And so I think that planning, I'm a big fan of urgent, important, not urgent, not important, and really scheduling things out. And also from a tool standpoint, if it's not on my calendar, it never happened. And so, or it doesn't happen. And so I definitely utilize tools to really, like a Calendly, on my iPhone, I have my to-do list and different things, those types of tools to really keep me organized. But yeah, time management. And I learned the word no.
Thank you so much, Dr. Worthy. I appreciate it.
There's Greg in that always orange attire.
Even though I'm working right now, I'm gonna stop just to ask you a question because you called me out. So here goes. Okay, what are some ways that you're looking to, I guess, increase awareness in local chapters of open positions regarding the regional and national boards? Like some direct results, not just like a formal line or something.
So that's awesome. And I love that question, Greg. So one of the things that is on our agenda for our admin meetings, our admin zone meeting on Sunday for the PEB is for me to kind of present to them a strategy of succession planning and what are some of the things that we can do. And I'm waiting. I'll say that these are ideas that I plan to present to our admin zone. So y'all get a little preview, admin members. But one of the things that I would love for us to do is to do constant drop-ins to chapter meetings. And so we've kind of sometimes done this. It's been very hit or miss and not very structured and organized, but I'm not there to present. I'm not there to do anything. I'm there to be present as a NSBE member. And so I think that that's one strategy that we would love to do. Another strategy is for us to always be talking about leadership, always talking about how this thing called national and regional leadership is a wonderful sandbox for us to play in and to make mistakes so that we can learn from those mistakes. And then once we get into our careers where we can't afford, as Black engineers, we can't afford to make those mistakes in our careers because we know that we'll be kicked out first. But to allow people to learn and to develop as leaders in this space. This has been a wonderful experience for me, and never would I have ever in my workplace been able to lead an organization such as NSBE. And so, that experience I want to share with everybody else. So constantly workshops, our new national leadership chair, Avery Lane, he's also talking about presenting masterclass, constantly talking about leadership so that our chapter members can understand and know these are the positions and this is why it's important. Because it's easy for us to share that these positions are open, but we have to make the sale. We have to make the pitch of why it's important to operate and to lead at this particular level. So hopefully I'll come back to you, Greg, with other ideas from our admin zone of some other things that we can do, but being present in that chapter level is definitely one of those things.
Thank you.
And I think I'm about done with the time there, author. Are we up? You so nicely slid in these breakout rooms slide here. So
Yes, we're perfectly on time. So that was a great ending on the minute. So there will be plenty of time for questions. So as they arise, oh wait, I think I see one hand up. Let me see here. Is it Charles? Do you have a question?
Yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet. Dr. Bro, you had mentioned something about graduate students, and I'm happy that you're talking about that because I had talked to Russell about it, and I've also talked to Dr. Gray about it as well. And I know that's one of the things that we really need to start focusing on because we do a lot with the undergrad students. But when you think about a lot of the different, like McKnight Fellow I went through, they teach a lot about dissertation writing and being able to publish papers and stuff like that. Those are the things that I think we need to really start thinking about and considering, especially for graduate students who struggle because everyone who has completed a doctorate, they all have their stories, both good and bad and indifferent. And I think we need to have those testimonies and be able to tell those students about it and tell them that they won't be ABD, the fact that they will complete.